4 about to get underway. We'll get you up to tip as the fans file into a building they hope is not a swan song for their team or possibly for LeBron as a Cleveland Cavalier. It is Game Time presented by YouTube TV. Welcome on the floor here at the Q. Casey Stern, Grant Hill, Chris Webber, Sir Charles down on the end. Chuck, I'll start with you. I've heard you do the slim and none joke about 17 times in the last 48 hours. Have you changed at all, or are you still saying there's no chance any Cavalier fan should even watch this game tonight?
Well, they got to watch the game, number one, just because this is the finals. The Cavs are not going to win tonight. I'll be totally surprised if they're able to win this game. I mean, I think they're resound to the fact that they're not – I mean, because you go back to Game 3 when they were down 4 with 30 seconds ago, they didn't foul. So I think everybody knows what's going to happen here tonight. You know, there's a couple of people saying, well, remember last year they came back and won Game 4, but that's because Kyrie had 40 and LeBron had 40. Kyrie's not walking through that door.
Webb?
I agree with the Chuckster. I think it's over. I thought that the Cavs had to win Game 3 in order to stay in this, and I just think tonight I think it could get, if you want my honest opinion, I think it could get ugly really quick. Depending on the will of the Warriors, knowing that, you know, they can go home and just, when they land, have a ticker-tape parade. It seems like they have the energy and the momentum. If it's one player you don't want to doubt, it's LeBron. But this is a team game, and right now it just looks like the Warriors and the unguardable Kevin Durant and the Splash Brothers just have the upper hand, G.
Yeah, Webb, I agree with both you guys. I mean, I said last time we were on here Wednesday night not to count out LeBron James. They've gone through so much adversity this year. Their backs have been against the wall. People have counted them out in the postseason. They managed to keep moving forward, advancing, getting to the next round, but they can't win. I mean, they gave their all in Game 1 and Game 3, and I think it's deflating.
Yeah,
when you get that close and you have your opportunity, at least you feel like you do, and you still lose. And, oh, by the way, the Splash Brothers didn't play well, and you know one of those guys.
Oh, man, they shot terribly. Yeah, say that, yeah, right?
One of them,
oh,
maybe both of them.
Here's
going to have a good game tonight.
Let's remember this. Clay sat next to us after Game 3, and very honest, which is why I love Clay, he just said, hey, look, we only got 21 between the two of us. That's got to hurt. They lost anyway. He called it a night off. Shooters, I shouldn't ask Chuck, but I'll ask him. I'm looking at you. If you were a shooter, those guys normally don't have back-to-back games like we saw from the Splash Brothers in Game 3.
Well, let me just say this one thing, and I shouldn't say this because it wasn't on camera. And I apologize to Clay if he gets mad later, because it was something he said in private, and I don't know if he wanted to go with. I got to say it. We asked him, hey, Clay, how's your knee? He said, oh, I'm good. We only got one more game. But listen, man, those guys are not going to shoot that poorly again. And, you know, I actually wonder about LeBron's mindset, to be honest with you, because as great as he is, he has to be saying, I can't dominate these guys 4 times in a row. Now, I actually like that outfit right there.
Would you wear those pants, Chuck?
I would not. He maybe he's expecting a flood. You never know.
You're out of your mind.
No, hey, listen, our day those were called floods. We did.
Are they?
Yeah.
You're embarrassed
You're the
to wear
oldest one here.
Right.
I am, but these guys know what floods were.
Yeah.
We used to always say, put some sugar on your shoes to sweet talk your pants down.
I've never heard that one before.
You talk about the mindset. Let me ask you guys. As athletes, I think we all admire the fact that you guys are able to zone in regardless of what's happening off the court or off the field or ice in another sport. But, Webb, for you, LeBron walks into this building. He knows there are a lot of questions looming after this game if they lose. He probably still not aware, depending upon what happens, where he's going to go. How does he eliminate all of that when he comes into this building and prepares for Game 4 tonight?
It's going to eliminate itself. I was a free agent in Sacramento. We were in a playoff series. We were going to lose the playoff series. We were down 3-something, and coming into that game, everything just takes care of itself because you really can't get anything done thinking about next year or tomorrow. And he's one of the best athletes, one of the best mental minds in this game. And so I look for him to go through his regular routine. That's where routine comforts you and doesn't let all the other stuff get in your head. The fact your knees are hurting, you have to heat up, you have to ice. G Hill, you still have to get taped and sit on the training table, talk to players. So to me, I don't worry about him at all, not being focused. And he's been through this position, 2 or 3 times already. So I think he'll be homed in. But again, as Chuck said, to know as a player, you know the truth about yourself and the other team, and it's going to be tough to dominate this team 4 games in a row. And even if he does dominate with another 50-point game, will that be enough?
And Webb, you said it best. With all of us up here have been elite players, with the exception of Casey. And we've been in that situation where regardless of what's going on in our life, regardless what the future holds, you can compartmentalize that. And when you get to the gym, when you get to the arena, you're focused on competing and playing to win. LeBron James, as Chris said, has been in this situation before, has had a last game where he ended up going to a different team. He'll come out, he'll compete, he'll bring it all in the first half. I do worry, though, if they get down big.
Yes.
If it's a big, 15, 20-point a situation where they're down at halftime, it may be a little different in the second
quarter. It could be like
What's going to be interesting is the crowd.
Yes.
Because walking around Cleveland the last couple days, these people think they're going to a funeral. I mean, and I feel bad because I think this is one of the most underrated cities in the world. And you can't watch television without these idiots on TV talking about, well, LeBron's going to go. Like, they're already assuming he's gone. I mean, it drives me crazy. None of these guys have any clue what LeBron's going to do. I don't even think LeBron knows what LeBron's going to do, to be honest with you.
Right?
But like I say, I'm on the record. I hope he stays here. This is a wonderful city. Like I say, he can go other places and win, but it won't be the same. They have a hometown kid. Be one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. And I just hope he stays here. But it's going to be interesting on the crowd because if you turn on the television really in the last 3 to 4 months, it's pretty much a consensus, and I hope not that he's gone.
A lot of things to watch in the fourth quarter if they're down, including chants from the crowd about one more year or stay or who knows what, and how does he get handled in terms of this tie? Take him out early if they're down big to get an ovation. Do you not think about that? How does all that get handled? With more on the Cavaliers, here's David Aldridge.
Thanks very much. Now, the Cavaliers, of course, said all the right things after Game 3 about not wanting to have their season end at home and knowing that they can just get back in the series with one win. But the reality is that the mood here is not quite as buoyant as it was coming into Game 3. Now, Cleveland can build on things like Rodney Hood's performance, 15 points off the bench and getting an opportunity to play. But as JR put it, the Game 3 loss was very difficult, especially coming at home. This is a team that's given its all in Games 1 and 3 and has yet to make a mark in this series. But they have LeBron James, and they are at home, and they have a resolve not to have their season end tonight. Back to you.
All right, DA, thank you. Teams down 0-3 in the NBA Finals. You could try and extend things like the Cavs did last year, but it eventually goes the other way. A lot of that, guys, comes down to talent. You all talked about it. If you didn't hear it, for those of you at home, listen to the way LeBron put the difference in the talent of the two teams yesterday.
The room for error versus a team like this is slim to none. And I think I said last night, it's like playing the Patriots, it's like playing San Antonio. The room for error is slim to none. And when you make mistakes, they make you pay because they're already more talented than you are. But they also have the minds behind it, too, and they also have the championship DNA. So,
you know, people want to get on LeBron for everything. You guys know this because you all were in that spot where you get all the criticism and all of the praise and on both sides. Why are we mad at LeBron for being honest? And I saw this from people last night. Because, he says, hey, look, if you put their best five and our best five, they're a more talented team. They got 4 Hall of Famers on the other side. Does anybody not know that the Warriors are a more talented team than Cleveland? Come on.
Well, I mean, that is the truth. I don't think you want to say that when you're in the middle of a series. Yeah. You know, that doesn't empower your teammates. Yeah, you don't give confidence to your team when you're out here saying, and look, LeBron, I give him credit as a kid who came right out of high school into the NBA. I mean, he's pretty much done and said all the right things.
Yes.
Very, very well composed, polished, understands the big picture. But in that situation, you're almost conceding that or giving yourself an out. I think in that situation, you want to be a little bit more confident and not saying that kind of thing.
What do you want to hear him say? What would you say in that spot, Wes?
He doesn't have to answer the question. He's LeBron James. And there's never been an athlete that had to answer more questions, and I mean about his play coming in. He had a $100 million contract before he stepped 1 foot on the court. And he's answered this. He's our first social media star. And so he's been asked more questions and put in more positions, but it's still a team game. And when you start to talk about other players in your team while you're starting to play, that's something that leaders do not do. And I think that maybe the fans take it out of perspective, but, just for us, it just doesn't sound right, having been a teammate. And I'd like to ask Chuck one question if I could. Chuck, I know you're going to answer this about what James says, but lately I've been hearing a lot. You made the comment, Chuck, that LeBron is now going to have to deal with what he started, the super teams.
Yeah.
Do you think that you were a part of the super teams when you did Houston? Because everyone says, you started the super teams, or it was started before. Kind of explain what you mean to the people.
Well,
about that.
first of all, I got traded to Houston. I had no control. First of all, we were all 50 years old when I got traded to Houston, but I got traded there. I didn't get with guys over the summer and say, guys, we're the best players in the league. Let's get together. That never happened. I didn't want to get traded to Houston. The Suns traded me. But, LeBron has to, he has to say, I did start the super team. He did start the super team. Now it come back to bite him. And all these guys, it's going to be interesting, not just now, but for the NBA the next couple of years. Because the one thing we don't want is a non-competitive league. That's not good for everybody. Because we can't keep disrespecting the fans. There is some loyalty. People say, if we don't owe the fans, we owe the fans a lot. But when you see, you look up here, man. There's so many 23 jerseys in here. Even Michael Jordan, who's the greatest I've ever seen, or Magic Johnson, I didn't see any one player have as many jerseys these kids, the 23 we have here in Cleveland. These guys love this guy, and the thing is, he's a homegrown hero. So he means so much to this city, to this community. He left one time and he wrote that great letter about what Ohio means to him. Well, if it means that much to you, stay here and finish this journey. You don't have to win the championship. You can be really good and great and be competitive, but you don't have to win the championship.
Chuck, not to interrupt, but I got to ask you about that, because aren't we being hypocritical? We're saying, and look, I'm with you. MJ's the best that I've seen, right? So if we're saying, well, to be the best, you got to go win more championships.
No, we
right?
never said that.
Saying that.
Only guys in the media say that.
Yeah, guys that never played. We don't say that.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, unfortunately, and I know this is crazy, there are more people that are fans and media than guys who played.
Right, but
So
you're saying that we said and you're asking us as players.
My people, the average Joe,
So
right?
the players don't agree. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Players, I don't challenge his greatness because he didn't win a championship.
Okay.
Because I could name you a lot of players that went and sat on the end of the bench and got a ring.
Sure.
So we don't look at it in the same way. If you win it in your prime, it's different than winning it late with some other players. Are you driving the bus? That's
Or
really
you're a
the
bus
question.
rider.
Right.
Or are you a bus
Or are you
rider?
following?
And it's so for guys, if LeBron would have stayed here and only won 2 in his career, to me that would have been almost equivalent to Jordan winning 6 because of the situation and the teammates
Rather
he
than
had.
him going web to Miami.
Yeah, so for the fans, I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
The media portrays that, not the players
fans.
right. But we're the players, so how we judge each other, I think,
in case
they have a more credence.
No, I get that.
If LeBron goes to Houston,
Yeah.
and win a couple more championships with Chris Paul, it won't be the same as winning 1 or 2 here. You hear this if he goes, I hear all the rumors. If he goes to the Celtics, winning in Boston won't be the same as winning in Cleveland. Going to Houston won't be the same as winning 1 or 2 here in Cleveland.
Yeah, the bottom line is they're both right. Look, whatever he does from this moment forward, if he stays here in Cleveland and never wins again, he's cemented his legacy.
Yes.
His legacy, what he has done, his body of work. And so I don't think it really matters. I think for him, and Chuck says it best. You're from here. He's inspired this whole city, this community, this entire state. You think about it. If he were to leave, you want to stay in the East.
Yeah.
And then where would you go where you can really, kind of have it like you have
We
it
were
here?
talking about this upstairs.
Yeah, so I
Right.
just, I think it's good for the NBA. He's here in this market. I think it's great for LeBron. It's a mutually beneficial situation if he stays here. And I think at the end of the day, once the dust settles and he makes his decision, I think there's a real strong chance he
And
does
Casey,
stay.
Go ahead.
listen, let's get one thing straight. You hear all this stuff. If you go to the Lakers, they ain't going to be no good.
They're not going to be good.
They're not going to be good.
I want to ask you guys something just before we break. The onus of being a torchbearer, as you guys were in your own generations playing, it's something where when Webb, you talk about, and Charles does, what he means to the NBA, how it's not good for the NBA, obviously, if he just jumps. Did you guys feel that I don't want to say burden, but that obligation as representatives of the NBA? Should LeBron think about that aspect of it when he's making his decision?
Well, from my point of view, I think Chuck was in that kind of that
Sure.
era. As far as me, I wasn't in that era. But as far as to say, do you have that pressure? Yeah, everybody wants to win the championship, but at that time, for me, it was just different.
Right.
If it was today, I might have gone to San Antonio and played with Tim Duncan. But then it was an honor in losing against the other bus driver.
The competition.
The other bus driver. Not the other competition of the other bus driver for me. And so that was what was most important. And that's why we look back at careers and say, wow, Chuck, you lost to Jordan, but, man, y'all won 2 there. And how did you win 2, in Chicago in that series? You respect the player's journey. You respect how hard they work. You respect their decisions. Like Grant said, if he goes and plays with all of his friends, that's fine. It's just that I like to see guys compete. And he's in the finals, guys. I mean, he's getting swept, but anybody would have got swept in this finals, including Boston or anyone else. And so I choose to kind of celebrate all the great things that he's done. And back to your question about why kind of didn't sound that great with his teammates, because history is going to absolve him. History is going to say you're the greatest of all time and not even remember who was on this team. We were talking about Boobie Gibson earlier. He had 25 on us in the Pistons, and one day you're going to remember the guys that he's played with, the coaches he's played with, and I just think he's done such a great job that right now it's just cool to honor him and not make him do anything. Because if he goes to the Lakers, doesn't make the playoffs, then everybody's going to be saying, all those fans immediately going to be saying he's the worst ever.
But if he wants to go, Chuck, and we don't know, right?
It's his own decision.
Yeah.
You're okay with that, though?
No, I'm not okay with that.
Okay, you're not.
I wasn't okay when Kevin went to the Warriors.
But I thought you said it's his decision.
Yeah, but I don't have to agree with it.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have wore that suit you got. I disagree with you.
My suit's nicer than the suit you got.
I'm just kidding. Don't be sensitive, little
Not
fella.
as expensive.
First of all, it's not expensive.
It's definitely not as
Hey,
expensive.
Garanimals are not expensive.
Oh, please, I don't want to hear it.
Listen, wherever LeBron goes, we have to accept it. That don't mean we have to agree with it. Him being here is great for the NBA. It's great for this community. Like I say, Kevin is a great player and a great guy. I didn't agree with him going to the Warriors because he made them pretty much unbeatable. That would have probably been, and listen, go back to last year when neither one of these teams lost a game to the finals. Like, that's not competitive balance. We knew 7 months ago it was going to be the Rockets and the Warriors in the West and probably LeBron in the East. That's not competitive balance. That's already out there. And that's not fun for me to come to work. I want to see, like, even Michael Jordan, when they won, listen, we can go back and look. There are a couple times against the Knicks we thought they were going to lose. There were a couple times against the Pacers we thought they were going to lose. Yeah. Think about this, Casey. Last year was the first time, and people talk about there were super teams in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, but they bent it the right way. But they still never played each other 3 years in a row in the playoff. Now we're going on year 4. Think about that. Everybody talk about all those great teams from back in the day. They never played the same teams every year. First time ever 3 years in a row. Now 4 years in a row, the same teams.
I'm just going back to the suit.
You better lose that button before you put Grant's eye out. That button's going to pop off, boy.
Oh, boy. Ludacris added my voice in the crowd tonight. At King James, we need this win. When we come back.
You from Atlanta.
Luda recruiting them for you to go to.
Hey, listen, Grant. Hey, listen. Listen, if Luda waiting on the Hawks to make the playoffs, he going to.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, Grant.
Hey, that's what the Washington Capitals said until last night, right?
28 years.
We come back, we'll hear from Steph.
The Hawks on pace. The Hawks on pace.
Let's do it, Grant. You got it, baby.
A series that began about his mistake. He said the Game 3 loss was actually tougher for him. Believe
that's not
that,
true.
if you will.
That's not
Here
true.
on the other side is our own Jared Greenberg on the Warriors story.
Well, Casey, the Warriors come into Game 4 with a clean injury report. Andre Iguodala has been removed and will play tonight after injuring his right leg in the Game 3 victory. Now, Draymond Green saying that the Warriors are annoyed that they didn't sweep and close out the Cavs in 4 last season. So tonight, certainly wanting to make up for that. A big difference in that game a year ago was Kyrie Irving playing for the Cavs, and he had 7 3-pointers, scoring 40 points. Now, either way, whether the Warriors get a trophy or if they have to play a Game 5, they're going to stay the night in Cleveland and head for the Bay Area tomorrow late morning. Back to you, Casey.
All right, Jared, thank you. Let's go down memory lane after falling behind to the Rockets.
Pull.
5 straight. Game 6, Klay Thompson with the 9 threes. KD went for 34. The Dubs took the series in 7, which got us here. Game on the final step at 29, added 9 assists in the OT win over the Cavs and that whole JR thing. Then in game 2, final record, 9 threes. Do it, Grant.
No, that was luck right there.
Warriors won by 19. And then, yes, we were all here Wednesday when KD went for 43 and 13. The Dubs a commanding 3-0 lead for Kevin Durant, the 3rd most points by a Warrior on the road in the finals in the franchise's history. Rick Barry twice in front of his 43. And the most that we've seen KD score in a playoff game, despite the fact that last year, Game 3, he had that great game. Now he's upped another ante with his best performance we've seen for him in a postseason yet.
Yeah, best performance indeed. I mean, it was historic for him. His best performance, I think, all time in the postseason. On the road, Game 3, NBA Finals. He did it all over the court. Three-pointer, off the dribble, in between game. Just extremely aggressive. I love Webb that he was so confident, and they rode him, and they kept feeding him, and he kept delivering.
How about the humility of the MVP, Steph Curry, to be able to play? Look at him on the side cheering. And we had cool Klay Thompson over here the other day, and not that they've sacrificed their game, I'm not saying that, but they enjoy this guy and what he does. Again, I call him the unicorn. I think he's the best closer in basketball, and his height, his size is just so unique. His skill set, it's just fun to play with. It's just fun to watch him play.
I got a question for you two guys. Whoever plays the best tonight between Steph and Kevin gets MVP?
I don't think you can give it to KD just because of the last game with 43. So, yes, I think you got to wait and see tonight.
I think you're right. Whoever has the best, although Steph didn't play well in Game 3.
He played well in Game 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Great
Right.
Game
Whoever
2.
has the better game and they win, yeah, I think they get the MVP.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, Chuck, you made a statement the other night for those who didn't watch I want to bring back because obviously you've seen a lot of basketball. You've covered the game for a long time. And you said outside of the performance LeBron had against the Pistons that KD's performance the other night was the second best in a playoff game you'd seen in person. Do you still feel that way?
Oh, yeah. Listen, when LeBron scored basically 30 points in a row, 29 out of 30, that was the best performance I've seen since I've been on television at a game. What Kevin did the other night was the second greatest performance. Not that he had 43 points. You have to factor in the 13 rebounds and 7 assists. And he was efficient. He was like 15 for 23, which is amazing. But that was the second best performance of my broadcasting career being seen it in person. It was incredible.
You know, it's one thing to see a guy, and I'm sure you guys felt this way too, when you're playing against those bus drivers. They're going to get off and get theirs sometimes, right? The easy baskets we saw, though, for the Warriors have got to be crushing. Gee, we're going to look through some of the video. Those slip screens we talked about and some of those easy layups, they really were more of a killer than anything Kevin Durant did. They had 33 points on cuts in Game 3.
This can't happen.
Casey, you said it was easy. It was too easy. No help on the weak side. You have to, when you trap the basketball, be there to help. Great delivery by Draymond Green. This was like a broken record over and over again, Chuck.
This is too easy.
Where's the weak side? You got to get in and help. No one's there. Of course, Tristan Thompson, 2 against 1. McGee able to score. Too easy. Once again, right here, the spacing so good. They're so aware of the three-point shooting. You have to communicate here. Kevin Durant, he's the hottest player in the game. 2 go to Steph. Too easy of a basket, too easy of a play. Cleveland, even with all of that, they're still in the game. And so, but it's just that was the difference. I mean, Kevin Durant, look, he had a great game. He's going to have great games. But you can't expect the high efficiency of everybody else. And that came because they were getting layups and dunks off of those easy cuts.
You know, we're all football fans. I was thinking, Webb, of almost like when you watch a football team go on like an 8-minute drive, work so hard, and then like a team would go 2 plays down the field, and how defeating is that?
Yes.
The Cavs were going so deep into the shot clock to get their shots, and then the Warriors are scoring like this.
Casey, you're so right, man. And I want to add another football analogy. Imagine having 4th and 10, and the team running it for a first down. That's how frustrating it is, because you're playing great defense the whole shot clock. You think you have them and you want that, but this goes to LeBron's point about players as well. Yes, it's miscommunication on defense, but one of the reasons why is because they're so worried about Thompson on the corner. Nobody wants to come help. They're so worried about Curry coming up to shoot. So those three players, Curry, Durant, and Thompson, they make it so easy for other players by just cutting and doing their job, because you have to give them so much attention. It's going to be some miscommunication.
Charles, how do we see veterans on the Cavaliers? Look, there are a lot of vets on this team. You got Ty Lue, who's been through the battles as a player, as an assistant, now as a coach. How are we not getting adjustments to a play we've seen run now 1,000 times through the last 3-4 games?
Well, bad coaching. Like, that can't happen. I mean, it's happening every game. 10 to 15 layups on simple plays. On simple plays. You know, I could sit there and give you some bogus excuse or a bogus answer. You see, I could sit there in 5 minutes and a coaching staff meeting says, we got to play this play different. I mean, when the same play works over and over, you got to say the coach is not holding the players accountable, and the players not holding the coaches accountable. Like I would always say, go get him right now. The first time a guy give up a layup, because clearly they've had to talk about this since game 1. And every time a guy make a mistake, we went over that. We in game 4, we run the same little slip screen and get a layup. Go get him right now. That's the coaching got to hold them guys accountable.
You know, to your point, Chuck, it almost looked like they're in game 3, like Cleveland in the preseason. Like, you know, playing against a team that's been a well-oiled machine in midseason. Like, they just, that's uncalled for. In the NBA Finals, to have those type of defensive miscues and missed assignments and guys just waltzing down the lane, running for fourth down, I mean, you just can't do that, and that's just unacceptable. But that has been Cleveland most of the season, and in spite of their poor defense, they're here in the finals.
And I'm just surprised to see Webb talking about first down as a Lions fan. It ain't like the Lions been getting them in the first down.
No, we haven't had a 1,000-yard rush in about 10 years. You're right.
Barry Sanders not walking through that door.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, man, here we go.
From the running game to the Hail Marys of Steph Curry, we'll talk more about Steph and hear him one-on-one with our own Hall of Famer Grant Hill, talking basketball as the Warriors are on the brink of a championship, on the brink of coming down. That's the blip when this...
Which one?
What gentleman given all of his care off the court, but on the court continues to rack up numbers, which could, if he plays well tonight in a win, end up with a Finals MVP. Future Hall of Famer chats with the current one on our set, Grant Hill and Steph Curry.
We're playing for a championship, and this is the most fun you have playing the game of basketball.
Curry, long distance, well beyond the arc. Curry drives, count it, and one. Curry answers right back.
Can you just reflect sort of overall on what these last 4 years have been like for you and for this ball club?
It's all crazy to think about. I do my best to try to stay in the moment, because I don't want this to pass by without really fully experiencing and appreciating what we're actually accomplishing.
We want this one, fellas. Let's go take it. Just us. Just us.
It's tough with all the questions you get about where's your team fit in the history of the league and dynasties and all that type of stuff. We try to kind of block that out and just appreciate what we're doing. We're playing in the finals, and this is what anybody who suits up in the NBA dreams of playing in.
The championship is back in the Bay for the first time in 40 years. The Golden State Warriors are the 2017 NBA champions.
What would winning 3 championships be like? What would that feel like for you?
Yeah, I always smile. I'll be smiling real big once that happens. So I don't really know what felt greater, the first or the second one. So I hope that if we get that third one done, I can add that to the conversation. Every one of them is just special, and it's something that you want to appreciate with the teammates that you go to war with every night, and appreciate how hard it is to win a championship, because this is the mecca of the NBA.
Nothing going down for Steph Curry.
Obviously, as a great player, when things are going, it's easy. But sometimes when things aren't going, it's tough. In those tough moments, does your confidence ever waver?
It doesn't. Obviously, we're all human, and we all have thoughts that you've been, and that's where all the repetitions and all the work that you put in come back. You know that next opportunity that you get to get a shot up, that I feel like that one's going in no matter, you have amnesia about everything that's happened before then. And that's kind of what happened, game 3. I had my teammates in my ear telling me, there's a big shot coming. And I believed it, and it happened.
Here comes Curry. Fakes, sets, puts up a 3, knocks it down. His first three-pointer. He was 0 for 9.
Game 3, your teammate, Kevin Durant. Just talk about his special performance in that game.
When we had nothing going in the first half, he kind of kept us afloat, kept the game within reach.
Here is Durant. Durant for 3 off the dribble. Knocked it down over Jeff Green. Durant to handle the crossover, the pull-up. Shot's good. And they come back to tie the game.
And down the stretch, seemed like he made every timely shot that we needed to either combat a run or keep the lead, get the lead back, and obviously the dagger he had at the end of the game.
Kevin Durant delivers! A dazzling display from Kevin Durant.
The moment's never too bright for KD, and it was special.
You're competitive. You're an assassin. You're not afraid of the moment. You'll rip somebody's heart out with your play.
Steph Curry from way downtown.
But then you also have fun. And it's sort of the dichotomy of personalities where this competitive playfulness, at least that's my observation. Is that accurate?
I've always had a joy to what I do, and I always appreciate every opportunity I have to play the game. And doing it with a smile on my face, having fun. I'm goofy at heart, and that always kind of comes out when I'm out on the floor. But there's also a sense of kind of a killer instinct. I just know I have supreme confidence in my abilities when I'm out on the floor, so I don't mind going for the dagger shots and the crazy plays that might get the crowd going or silence the crowd on the road.
Curry way outside, another 3. Steph Curry has set a finals record.
I might shimmy every once in a while. I do it with a smile, but try not to ever lose the joy for the game, because I think not only do I feed off of that energy-wise, I think my team feeds off of that too.
We play our own edition of Who Wore It Better?
Well, that's a great golf course I work down in Florida, man. So that's better.
Yeah, real golfers.
Yeah, that's much better
You
than the
can tweet
cross
us at
colors.
NBA TV with the hashtag
Real,
Pretty in
recognize
Pink
real.
and let us know your answer.
A salmon. Salmon.
Salmon. Sexy and salmon. Is that better for you? We got more coming up on Game Time. 4. They're excited and they're a little timid, the way that Chuck is when he gets his eyebrows threaded.
Hey, I guarantee you, y'all making fun of me. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I guarantee you Jared gets his eyebrows done.
There's no way.
I actually have a personal service for that. They come to me. I don't actually have to go out.
Do you get your eyebrows waxed or threaded?
Not by a professional service.
What do you mean
What you mean,
threaded?
not by,
What does
you're
that
not
even
answering
mean?
your question, Chuck.
You're not answering my
You're not
question.
answering your question. That means yes, Chuck.
They go in there with thread and pull out their own wild hairs.
I'm going to say that
thread?
most
Why don't
people
they
watching
just use
have
a
never had their
scissor?
eyebrows
No,
threaded.
listen, when I get my mani-pedi every week,
Oh,
every other week I get my eyebrows threaded.
You think you just wake up this sexy, man?
This is why you don't have Twitter.
This takes a lot of work, brother.
This is a little bit
This
of
take
work.
a lot of work.
This is why you don't have Twitter. Jared, save me, please.
Yeah, I got you guys. Facts by Charles Barkley. Thanks for that. I talked to a lot of fans out here that are gathering at the Cavs Fan Fest here. And, Charles mentioned at the top of the show that he feels like the fans are coming into a funeral. I wouldn't go that far with the handful that I've spoken to, but most Cavs fans pretty pessimistic about this one, not giving their team much of a chance tonight. Fans from all over the world are coming here to tonight's game. Spoke to one from France, huge LeBron James fan. Heard one from Detroit who drove down as well from Detroit to just see this game. Warriors fans too. I think we're going to see a lot more Warriors jerseys tonight in the crowd. I see a lot of Warriors colors throughout the fan fest here, and I wonder if they're coming out to see their team, obviously, try and win a championship. But guys, the one thing about LeBron James, and you were talking about what is going to happen with LeBron in his future here, it goes well beyond just basketball and on the court. A recent market analysis was done on what the Cavs have done so far for the local economy. And the research says that through the 11 games that the Cavs have played at home this year, they have generated $31 million to the local economy. And over the course of 2017, the Q itself made $177 million. Now listen, it's not a direct line to LeBron James, but let's be honest here. LeBron has led this team to 4 straight NBA Finals and a championship, and he is really a huge part of why this area has gotten so, has benefited so much financially from what they've been able to do on the court, and then LeBron obviously helping out Northeast Ohio. So, guys, you know, as you talk to fans around here, LeBron playing his last game potentially in a Cavs jersey tonight is not just about the potential of getting back to the playoffs or winning another championship. It's about what's going to happen to the downtown Cleveland area and all of Northeast Ohio.
All right, Jared, thank you. By the way, just in case you weren't aware, Jared took his IFB out because he heard your heavy breathing. Can you not hold your mic so close to your face?
Hey, listen, Ernie. I'm sorry. You know Ernie.
I was getting
Hey, you know what's amazing?
Echo.
Number one, that was funny. But I will say this. That's the thing that we were talking to you about early, Casey. He's bigger than basketball for this community. When he left the first time, they were saying downtown turned into a ghost town. And he means so much more to this city than just basketball. That's why I hope he stays here. Like I say, there's more LeBron jerseys here than I've seen in any other city. Like in a lot of cities, even when Mike was in his heyday, there was some Pippen jerseys, some Paxson jerseys, guys like that. Even Magic, there was a bunch of Kareems and the Worders and things. Everybody here wears 23. He means so much to these people. That's why I hope he stays here.
I agree.
Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, I agree with Chuck. You know, Chuck, we know all the charity work you do, and especially in your home of Alabama. Same with you where you're from. Imagine if we all were able to play in that place that we were born. And so not only the guys that he inspired, 1,000 scholarships he's given to kids here, but it's so much more. It is about the economy. It is directly correlated to him. If he's not here, it doesn't matter who's here. You're not going to have this type of excitement downtown Cleveland.
All right, in this building, there's going to be an atmosphere looking not only to stay in the series, but trying to keep LeBron here in this building. How about having arguably the GOAT in the building? We're talking with Kareem next.
Film room where we break down the 30th anniversary of the 1988 NBA Finals Game 6. We never really got a chance to really talk to each other about the series.
All of a sudden, I want to fight again.
We're up 3-2, and we coming in and we saying we need one game to win.
When we got you in 88, we knew we had our hands full.
I had curfew in California in June. As grown men, that's how serious we were about playing y'all.
This was the Isaiah Thomas quarter.
This may be the play that I get hurt on.
We knew that Isaiah was thinking right now.
By Sally on a switch. Kareem. The old man goes up.
I found out when he
called you. 2 hands in the back.
2 hands in the back. He over here.
Here's the trick. Here's the trick, Isaiah. Hands up. Hands up. There it is right there. Boom.
The referee over there.
And he sees
How
that.
he see that?
He can see
How
it.
he see that?
He can see that. Looking back 30 years, that was the part history that we created.
Man,
Do not miss reliving the classic with the guys who are on the floor for every moment. Sunday, June 10th, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on NBA TV. As we get ready to see if KD puts another notch in the Belt of Finals award wins and another championship, a guy who knows a thing or two about those and much, much more on the accolade front, maybe the greatest ever. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar joins our guys on the court.
Wow. 1988. I'm going to tell my age a little bit. I was in college watching that against the Detroit Pistons. What brings back memories 30 years ago in that finals?
The most memories I have is every Pistons fan I encountered said, Bill Laimbeer didn't foul you on that. So we got to go through that discussion. And I have to inform them that Bill Laimbeer fouled on most shots that I took. They can't believe that. But that's usually where they come at it, because it was that closely contested, you know. Right. It was a good series for the fans anyway. For us, it was, geez, I already had lost my hair, but one of the reasons that happened so fast was games like that, you know.
Kareem, you were here last night to watch Game 3. What were your impressions of what it is you saw between these two teams?
I think the intensity was so great that for the first 3 quarters, it missed layups, missed defensive assignments, and all the turnovers. You know, bonehead plays that can cost you the series. Both teams were making those kind of mistakes. And then as the game got toward the end, all the heroics came out, and you saw the people who delivered: LeBron, Steph, Kevin. But I thought it was a great game for the fans. I hope they enjoyed it, because it It was closely contested, even though there was a lot of sloppy plays. It was very closely contested.
With the evolution of the big man, and I know you made your living right here in the paint, and now you see bigs shooting threes.
Right.
Were you happy to see Jordan Bell and JaVale McGee rim protecting and slipping and getting easy baskets? They were missing a lot of them, but at the same time, you don't see it as much now.
Right.
But you were seeing it from those guys, and
Right.
that's where they're making their bread and butter.
I think that the way that the three-point shot has opened the court up,
yes.
Now you can make plays like that, the easy back door. When there was no three-point shot, the defense was right here forcing everybody out to the perimeter because there was no bonus. But that extra point for the three-point shot, that changes that whole dynamic and makes everybody have to go out and guard people.
And he was still able to score 30-plus thousand points with everybody right here.
Let's round up because it's a lot closer to 40,000. So.
Yeah, there you go.
One three-pointer.
Oh, nice.
One for 13.
One for 13.
Kareem, I had spoken to you a little bit before we had a chance to talk here about, looking a little bit beyond the game, a little bit beyond strategy and X's and O's. There's something to the chemistry of these teams and something to having continuity with these rosters. We know it's the fourth time that the Cavs have played the Warriors, but this is such a different iteration of that Cavs team. How much of what that secret sauce is in the chemistry of the team are we seeing play out on the floor in some of those tactics because they're not familiar with one another?
Well, I think Golden State's ability to get players that can pass, shoot, and handle the ball, that puts tremendous pressure on the defense because now the middle is open and anybody can attack, cause the defense to collapse, and now you got guys spotting up. And these guys are deadly guys spotting up out here. It's not me trying to make my first three-pointer. It's guys that can really knock these down, and that's Golden State's their genius in terms of how they work out their game plan.
And Kareem, when you look at a guy like LeBron James, he's been wowing us this whole playoffs run. Is there anything left that he can help this team try to get one win to get back in the series?
No, look, he's shooting 56%,
yes,
including three-pointers and assists, defense, block. He's doing it all. But I think his supporting cast is not at the level that it needs to be for them to, be a dominant team at this point. And they made it this far just because he's as brilliant as he is.
That's right. And that's what I was going to say. Going into Game 4, you're the coach. You're sitting in front of your team tomorrow, game day. And more so, it's your conversation goes to more of the supporting cast. What do you tell them? How do you prepare them? And maybe LeBron as well, because he's going to need to lead them, obviously. What do you tell them going into Game 4?
Well, it's going to have to rely on what their defensive strategy is. So, like, if they're going to double LeBron and make him give up the ball, they got to get it out to the perimeter and get those guys and bother the shooters.
Yes.
If they can't do that, LeBron's going to be either getting layups inside or feeding guys outside for easy three-pointers. And the game last night, that's how it started out.
Yes.
And JD was hitting them. And when that happens, they're as good as any team in the league.
All right, Kareem, before we let you go, you have to break us down Becoming Kareem.
Becoming Kareem, the live tour.
Oh, live tour. Take us through it.
I was just going to talk about my book, Becoming Kareem. You can just look that up.
Yeah, that's when people had real hops back then. When you had to block and shot with your head by the rim.
I actually caught this guy's hook shot.
His hook shot. So you're blocking. That's the hook shot you're blocking.
That's the hook shot that somebody's blocking. My man Edgar Lacey was guarding him. I snuck him from behind.
I wonder how you read that a hook shot was coming. I'm not sure how you know that.
Right, and Larry Mikan, George Mikan's son.
Yeah.
I know he'd shoot one.
How many times have you hit your head on the rim?
Only once when I tried to do it, and when I realized I could do it, I said, I don't need to knock myself out. But I'll be touring. We start in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and it's a live tour. You can go to becomingkareem.org, and you can find out all about it. I hope you come and check us out and find out all of my deep, dark secrets.
Oh! Brent Berry, half man, half amazing, Vince Carter, and of course, the GOAT, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Nice talking to you guys. Good luck.
All right. Good luck. Better get any better than that, hanging out with Kareem.
All right, boys, thank you. Here's Rick on Twitter.
Hey,
Casey, you're not that funny.
Oh, boy. Kevin Love, he was big in the first half, not so much in the second half of game number 3. What does he have in game 4? Regret this incident occurred and understand it's become a distraction for the team. Therefore, the organization and I mutually agreed to part ways. So, like the game clue used to be, I'll ask you, Chuck, start on the end. What do you think of the my wife did it in the courtyard
Well, let me
defense?
say this. This is a very difficult story for me. I've known Brian Colangelo for a long time, going back to my Phoenix Suns days, and obviously I live in Phoenix. I've known his dad a long time. I just feel sadness. Number one, he had to go. He had to go. But I just feel sadness because I like him a lot as a man and a person. But I don't believe that wife stuff. I don't believe that wife stuff at all. But like I say, I just feel sadness because Brian's a good friend, and I hate to see him go. But he had to go. But that bogus stuff about his wife doing that stuff, I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, it ain't taking the fall for me. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Look, it was poor judgment. It was a stupid thing to do, and it's unfortunate because he has been a really good executive. His track record, he was GM of the year in Phoenix.
That's a bad example right there.
That
like watch that picture.
But no, I mean, it's unfortunate, and we know the Colangelo family. I lived in Phoenix, played for the Suns as well. Meant a lot for this game, and just an unfortunate situation. But he had to go. You lose the trust of your leader of your basketball operations when you're having that kind of behavior on social media. And I think it's something we all need to learn in this new social media age, that as players we talk about, as executives, as owners, as people in TV, you have to be careful and you are accountable for what comes out. And certainly Brian Colangelo is for the Sixers.
Yeah, with all the great things the Colangelo family has done for basketball, you hate to see this, and it erodes the trust of the players. You look to the organization for leadership. You look to them for trust. And once that erodes, it can go anywhere with that. You can't discipline players. You can't trust it. Your medical records, that privacy issues, and so it had to happen. You hate to see this, and hopefully it just doesn't happen anymore in basketball, that social media is not used in a negative way on any type of thing.
And let me say this here. People give me a hard time because I'm anti-social media. This is the reason I will never do any social media, because number one, you can't be honest, and people are going to say things or do things to piss you off. You know, especially when you're rich and famous and successful, you already have people who don't like you. And it doesn't matter what they say to you, but if you say something, it's going to go out there viral, I think they call it. But I feel no need to do any social media, and I'm never going to do any social media, because here's a guy who's had a great life and a great career. It's all down the drain now. And I got to tell you, as much as I like Brian Colangelo, this is one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen somebody do to get fired in my 30-some years in the NBA.
The weird thing is, Charles, his job wasn't in jeopardy. That's the part I keep not understanding.
He was doing a great job.
Like, he wasn't in trouble. The team was about to go this way. So it's like, okay, if you're putting out these secret accounts and having your wife write all the things you want to make yourself look better, you didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to do that. Look, he was in a position with a lot of runway in front of him. Those young players,
oh my goodness,
the future they had, even with the Fultz situation, which was weird this season, they still have time to have a great run with that core guys. And you're right. He didn't need to do that. Look, we're on social media. I know Weber's on. You're on as well. People will try to bait you.
Yes.
People will say things negative, will try to go at you. And you have to ignore it or do what I do. I just block them, you know. But you can't respond. And it is. It's foolish that someone was fired because of 5 burner accounts.
And let me tell you something. Somebody asked me, and I'd love to get you guys' opinion. You take away the Warriors and the Celtics, I think that's the 3rd best job in the NBA going forward.
Yep.
Right now, before LeBron decides what he's going to do. But you got the Warriors who are stacked for the next few years. You got the Celtics who are stacked with Embiid and Simmons and Saric. And money. That's the 3rd best job in the NBA, in my opinion. Y'all agree?
I agree. And maybe top 5 in all of sports cities. You know, you played there, and so I played there. It's definitely a place where they'll support you. And right now, in the middle of the process, while it's working, I didn't understand that either. But I'm like you. I'm a tumbo on the Twitter. You talk that junk.
I just block
you.
Hey, but you know what? The great thing with him too is you didn't have to endure the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
That already happened. He came in as things were moving in the right direction.
Yes.
And I mean, it's sad.
I just feel sad. I like the guy a lot as a person, but our job on TV is to be honest. I like him a lot as a person. I think he's a great guy, but that was just flat out stupid.
All right, from stupid to these shots that look like they could be that for anyone else, Steph Curry has hit plenty of those. A one-on-one to come with our own Grant Hill.
You guys have had just an amazing 4-year journey. Can you just reflect sort of overall on what these last 4 years have been like for you and for this ball club?
To play in the finals 4 straight years is something I never dreamed of, and we're one game away from winning a championship and winning a third. So I do my best to try to stay in the moment because I don't want this to pass by without really fully experiencing and appreciating what we're actually accomplishing.